Hello, I wanted to do a brief tutorial on how you can use Google Sites to create a classroom website. So this is the website that I created for myself. I'm going to give you a brief overview of how to get started with building your own website to use for your classroom. So let's get started. If you go to the Google homepage and hover over Google Apps, click on your Google Apps and go to Drive. If you don't have the Google Sites icon already available on that home menu, and from here click on New. I'm going to click on More to that drop down box until I get to Google Sites. Alright, when I get to Google Sites and it opens up, it's going to give me the default setting. So here on this page, you will need to name your website. So I'll go ahead and name my site, and you see it populates here on the header. This is the default header. If you do not like this header, you can of course change it, but before we change anything, let's take a look at what's actually populated on this page. Here we have, of course, the undo last action and redo last action. Once you get into building your site, you can stop and preview it at any time just to see what your end user is actually going to see. This icon here actually allows you to add a link to any of your buttons or features that you add to your site. Of course, share with other users, and this little gadget is where you click to go to your settings. Alrighty, so here you have three different tabs. The first one is Insert. Here is where you're going to drag and drop to actually build your home page and your other pages that you add. You have the text box, the images, embed a code, go back to Drive, and you can add anything from your Drive you can link to your Google site that you're building. Here are some layouts that if you click on it, it'll add it to whatever section that you're on, and of course if that's not the one you want, undo is your best friend. Here you can also add their different features here that you can insert into the page that you're working on. So it's, in my opinion, is very user friendly. Even if you're not tech savvy, it's really just very basic, like fill in a blank type thing. Here you can add more pages. Of course, here we only have the home page available, but once you start to build, you can add another page. Let's see, what's one of my pages? Library. And so now you have two pages, a home page, library page. But if you don't want that page, you can always click on delete. Alrighty, and then the other tab are your themes. Here you can change the color scheme, the backdrop, the style. So again, if you are not very tech savvy, it has features readily available for you to drag and drop and basically fill in the blank however you see fit. So I'll just leave it here. And for this heading, the heading that I actually have, I created it in Canva, but that's not basic 101 Google site building, so I'm just going to use the features that are readily available to you. So if you want to change the image, there are some that are already available in the gallery. So if you want to just do a basic color with a little pattern in the background, just click on it and select, and it'll populate here for you to utilize. If you don't like that color, that's not a problem. And go back to the gallery and choose another color. and it'll just replace it. Okay, so we're at a place where we want to go ahead and maybe include a title to our header if we did not upload our own image that already includes that information. So my classroom, that's what we have. Now going back to insert, because that's where all of our layouts and information is for us to actually build our site. To include those buttons like I have on my site here, my home page, I was able to, I have an account with Canva, a paid account, which they also have a free account, but I use Canva to create my buttons. However, if you are not familiar with Canva, that's not a problem. What you can do is, first you need to choose your layout. This particular layout gives me 4 inserts where I can add buttons or pictures or whatever it is that you want to add. They could be icons, whatever. Be creative. But just for this 101, very basic, I went ahead and used PowerPoint to create these circles here. Now, I have already saved these buttons, but I want to show you how, if you're not familiar, if you are familiar with PowerPoint, there's a shapes icon drop down. It gives you many options of shapes that you can choose from. I chose the circle. I went ahead and chose the size that I wanted to go with. Command C allows me to copy it. Command V allows me to paste it. So that's important because you want all of your shapes or icons or what have you to be the same size. Aesthetically, it just looks better. If you want to choose a different shape, that's totally up to you. There are many to choose from. I just went ahead and went with the circles. If you want to change the color of your shape, just go ahead and choose a fill color. If you don't see a color here that you like, you can always go to more colors and it should, there we go, and give you more colors to choose from. Just to be simple, choose that color. So that color is now my fill color. I would recommend, but it's totally up to you, that you also change the line color. Alrighty, so now that I have my circles that I want to insert, I went ahead and I already saved these. So what you can do is, this is another important thing, highlight the entire image, or you can click each component of the shape by holding down the shift key and clicking on top until you highlight every feature, because you want to group it together before you save it. So now that I have the image grouped together, I'm going to right click and go down to do that again. There we go. Save as picture. So I want to save it as a picture, which is a PNG file, because it's going to just save the actual image and the text and not the background. So I'm going to name it Circle 4 and save. So now when I go back to my actual web page, I can upload those images that I was able to save. And I just have text here because you can name it whatever it is that you want to link it to, whatever the theme is for your actual site. So once you have all of your images uploaded, so at this point you have your header populated, you have your layout chosen, And now you have filled in your buttons, so to speak. Now, if you don't want to do all of this and you just want something very basic and you want to, let's choose the same layout. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's say you want to just add a button. You can choose that from your, let's say, homework. And then here's where you can add the link to from your drive, from your class. And you can always stretch that button out so you can see the full word. If you don't like the filled look, you can go ahead and do an outlined look or just the text. But if you want the filled look, you can also give it a background. Choose an image. You can play around with it and do whatever you choose, but just wanted to let you know you don't have to create buttons and all of that. You can just choose something from the menu that's already available. If that's not what you want, go ahead and delete that information. So you know that you're working here on this box because it's highlighted. So say you wanted to add a link to your buttons that you created. Notice that when I click the box, it highlights the actual button and then it says click to edit text. But I don't, if you do that, you can insert a link there and it's going to, well, not necessarily like that, but the text is going to be down at the bottom. But if you want to attach the link to your actual button, then that box beneath that will not populate anything. So now, just to get an idea of what we have so far, click preview. And that's how it functions. Goes to your link that was provided in your Google Classroom or in your Drive. And of course, you can continue if this is not what you, if you're not done, just want to take a look, go ahead and exit preview and continue to build. You can move these around, but just be mindful of where you're placing those buttons, because if you put it in the wrong spot, then you know it kind of changes it will change your layout. That's something else that I can tell you for one-on-one. So hopefully this is a way to help get you started, just to have a home page ready for when your kiddos first log on. If you just want to have a one-stop shop for them to go to meet the teacher and get a glance at your first week in school, to have something to refer to as far as expectations or etiquette for virtual learning and a way to contact you, that this is a great way to have just a one-stop shop for all of that information. That's easy for you to link that and share this one page. And then, you know, once you're ready to add more features, it's always easy to come back in and edit and add along the way. But just to get you started, here's a great way. I hope this helps, and I will add more information in another tutorial on how to revamp this to make it more aesthetically appealing. But for right now, this is a great start. Hope this helps.